Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I would like to share with you a very complex but interesting game played by Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. MVL is on the black side and his opponent is Anish Giri. This game was played in 2016 at Norway chess tournament. Now let's see what happened on the board. Giri started the game with e4 and MVL went for his usual Sicilian defense, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3 and a6. MVL goes for Najdorf variation, which is one of his main weapons. Bishop g5, white is choosing the main line, e6, f4, h6, bishop h4, queen b6 and a3. White is indirectly protecting the pawn on b2. Here queen takes b2 can be met with knight a4 and the queen is trapped. That's why after a3 we see bishop e7 and bishop f2. Already there are some nasty knight takes e6 threats. That's why we see queen c7, queen f3, knight d7. White castles queenside and b5. Black is starting an advancement on the queen side and is preparing to fianchetto his light squared bishop g4. Meanwhile, white is starting a pawn storm on the king side g5. MVL is stopping white's pawn storm. Now comes h4 and already there is too much pressure on g5. That's why we see g takes f4 and bishop e2. This move was already seen in correspondence chess, but according to MVL, he was unaware of it. The idea is that if knight e5, then white can capture on f4, and already the pawn on g4 is protected, although black can go for this beautiful knight takes g4 move and then play e5. Several months later, this line was seen in a game played by Fabiano Caruana and Hikaru Nakamura, and in this position Caruana went for queen sacrifice on f6. I've already covered that game and will pin the link in the comment section. That was actually a very astounding game, but in the game after bishop e2 we see rook g8 and rook g1, which is a mistake. Well, there was nothing wrong with capturing on f4. Now if e5, then white can also capture on h6, and accepting the piece sacrifice can be very dangerous because white is getting great attacking chances. If bishop b7, then rook f1. If knight takes g4, then after bishop takes g4, rook takes g4, white can go for a rook sacrifice on f7. If king takes f7, then queen h5 check, and then queen h7, and then queen takes g6. White is managing to gain a winning position. That's why after queen takes h6, black should play bishop b7, although after knight f5, knight takes e4, rook f1, still white has an advantage. But in the game after rook g8 we see rook g1, and using the fact that white moved away his rook from the d file, MVL went for d5. A very important move in Sicilian defense, which is freeing black's position. As I've already mentioned, as the rook left the d file, this break works very well. E takes d5, knight e5, queen h3. Well, if I move like knight takes b5, then after a takes b5, knight takes b5, black can play queen b8, and actually there is not much white can do. This won't work. That's why after knight e5 we see queen h3, it takes d5 and rook e1. White actually made too many moves with his rook and lost a precious time. It was better to play bishop f3, after which black should find king f8, and after king b1, h5, knight takes d5, knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, bishop takes g4, queen h2, rook d8. Although still black is maintaining a slight advantage, but this continuation could have been better for white. But in the game after e takes d5 we see rook e1. Here comes king f8, an interesting move by MVL. He moves away his king from the e file and prevents any surprising sacrifices on b5. Knight f5, bishop takes f5, g takes f5 and bishop c5. If we have a look at the position, black got total control over the dark squares. According to MVL, it was actually quite unexpected for him how fast things got really bad for white. Black pieces are suddenly in the right place. Queen f1. Well, if I move like bishop takes c5, then after queen takes c5, followed by either d4 or rook g3. This could actually allow black to launch a mating attack. That's why after bishop c5 we see queen f1, but anyways d4 is on the board. Knight b1, and now comes the knight e4. Black pieces got very active and white is in trouble. Look at this. Bishop f3 and a powerful blow, knight takes f2. This move is winning on the spot in more than one way. Now if queen takes f2, then d3 is coming. The queen is hanging. If queen d2, then simply knight takes f3. After knight takes f2, Giri captured on a8. And another powerful move by MVL. Can you find his next move? Ready? This time he went for knight d3 sacrifice. The knight is untouchable because black can give a discovered check and then bishop b4 check. If king e2, then f3 and then queen c2 check followed by queen takes d2 checkmate. In the game after knight d3 check we see king d2 and here MVL simply munched the rook on e1. Look at this, black knights. What are you doing in white's camp? Queen takes f2 and d3, another beautiful move. This time MVL is giving away the knight on e1, but here comes bishop e3 check and Anish Giri resigned. Actually, there is a mate in 5 moves. If king takes d3, then queen c4 checkmate is coming, and if move like queen takes e3, then this time queen takes c2 check and then f takes e3, and white king is in a mating net. Here is one of the possible lines how white king can get checkmated. That's why after bishop e3 check, Anish Giri resigned. A very beautiful game, I think, which was full of complex lines, but it was only MVL who managed to find the right path from the dark forest and won the game. Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this game. For more games, consider subscribing to my channel. I will see you in the next video.